The Cardinals have a very strong farm system, which was on display in the Arizona Fall League. And today we'll be joined by one of those prospects who was a part of it all. Outfielder Mike Antico joins us today on Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern. I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio. Follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcast. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe and comment so you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Now, it's always nice to have a guest join us on the podcast, especially when it's someone who is actually a part of the St. Louis Cardinals organization. And today, we've got one of the team's top outfield prospects on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mike Antico, everybody. What up, Mike?
Hey, JD, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for hopping on today, buddy. Where are you right now, since this is technically the off season? Are you in the home area, or are you somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm home in New Jersey. I'm actually training right now at our facility, Ascent Athlete in Pennsylvania.
Oh, very nice. Growing up in New Jersey, other than baseball, what kind of other interests did you have growing up there?
Yeah, it's a good question. Honestly, baseball was really my only interest growing up. I think that is really what helped me get to where I am now. I didn't really waste too much time doing anything else, but in my free time, I love going to the beach, hanging out with family, that type of stuff. But in terms of sports, baseball was the only sport I really played growing up.
Now, about a week and a half ago, we talked to one of your teammates, Gordon Graceffo, who was from Winn, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Where is that? Because I've never actually been to Jersey. I've been to New York, but never over to the other side of Jersey. Where is that compared to where you grew up?
Yeah, I'm about smack in the middle of New Jersey, maybe 15, 20 minutes from the beach. Winn is more North Jersey, more towards the city, but not far. Gordon probably lives maybe 40 minutes from me. So it's cool that, we played each other in college and stuff, and to be playing on the same team now is pretty cool.
Did you ever get the best of Gordon when you guys went up against each other?
I don't remember ever facing him in college, but I mean, maybe spring training this year. We'll see.
All right. So you mentioned baseball being your top priority. What was your favorite team, favorite player growing up as a youngster?
Yeah, like most people from my area, I grew up a Yankees fan, and Derek Jeter was my guy, of course. I mean, just the way he carried himself and the way he went about his business, and, he was a true champion. So I just always admired that about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's the captain, right? I mean, you got to root for him. Yeah. Gordon said the same thing, that he was a Yankees fan growing up, and that it was Jeter was the guy that he followed mostly. What are your thoughts on what the Yankees are doing? If Aaron Judge gets away from the Yankees, how's that going to make you feel inside as a Yankees fan at heart?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's great for the Yanks, and great for baseball, but I mean, it's a business, so you never really know what's going to happen, but I'm sure it'll work out.
You mentioned that some of the stuff you like to do in your time not playing is going to the beach. What about things like music, movies? Do you have any favorites that you enjoy listening to or watching?
Yeah, I'm kind of old school when it comes to that stuff. I like the older movies, and I love music, all types of music, some old music too, but, just classics like Goodfellas, The Godfather, any Martin Scorsese film I'm really into. I like Quentin Tarantino's films as well. I've seen them all, so that type of stuff.
Now, obviously, one of the things that you like to do, if anybody's seen photos of you or video of you, is the fact that you take good care of yourself when it comes to lifting weights and getting into the gym. Do you have any tips for any younger players who may be watching on how to stay motivated to get to the weight room? Because that's kind of half the battle is just getting there in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's really important to build that foundation. Now that, I'm getting a little older, like every year the workouts are going to be a little different, but as a young player, definitely, I was working out twice a day, just building my foundation, not even doing anything crazy, just getting like that base strength that you need. And I think that really carries on as you get older. So that's really it. I always went in with the mindset that there's always someone working harder. So like I said, I try to get in there twice a day and just do everything I can. There's just no way around working hard. It's something you've got to do if you want to be great.
At what age did you start really getting into the weightlifting aspect of being an athlete?
Yeah, my uncle was a personal trainer, and when I was young, we started with a lot of just plyometric stuff, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, lunges, all that type of stuff. I started that in about probably 7th or 8th grade, like not getting into the weights yet. And then once I got into high school, started, light weights. And then once I got into college, I started getting a little heavier and heavier. And then at this point now, I'm more so just I've built that foundation, like I said, and more so now just trying to move better and, mobility and just being able to get the most out of my body.
Yeah, always a key because one of the things that we know, especially with baseball, you guys play so many games and you're always active with it, is that sometimes you can overbuild. You don't want too much mass where you're pulling muscles and stuff. So it's it's a slippery slope because in the gym you're like you're working out as hard as you can. At the same time, you sometimes got to hold yourself back a little bit and go, hold on, maybe this isn't the smartest thing. One thing that is really smart is to keep a nice diet. Thanksgiving week is this week. Is this going to be a cheat week for you, or is it? Are you staying true to the diet, the everyday routine?
Well, growing up, both my parents cook, and they're unbelievable cooks. So I've been eating great my whole life, and I really think that has something to do with how I ended up growing. Just they fed me wonderfully, so I'm going to eat like a king tomorrow or on Thursday. I promise you that.
Yeah. As an Italian dishes, obviously you like the Italian movies. You have a favorite dish that mom or dad used to make when you were growing up that you still are like, dude, I can't wait to get home and have that.
Yeah, it's hard to pick because there's so many, but linguine with clams, like I always get excited to come home for that. It's tough on the road, not getting to eat so great. So when I come home, I definitely look forward to the good food for sure.
Yeah. Let's move on to your college career. You started St. John's, which is still up in the Northeast, and then you end up transferring down to Texas, which is nowhere close to where you grew up and where St. John's and everything is. So maybe tell us a little bit about what that was like getting, transferring all the way down south. Was that a kind of a drastic move for you, or was it something that you definitely look forward to? Because Texas, obviously a big program.
Yeah. When I was at St. John's, I never thought about transferring. I loved it there. I loved my coaches, my teammates. And then, COVID came and it threw everybody for a loop. So at the time I just needed to make a move, and I was just reaching out to whatever resources I had. And ultimately I got hooked up with the coaching staff at Texas, and, the rest is history. It was the best thing that ever happened to me by far. Like you said, it was very unusual. You could have given me a million guesses to where I'd end up, and I would never said the University of Texas. So I was just very blessed to get that opportunity, and it definitely was a drastic move, but they made it very easy for me. They brought me in with open arms and just really made me feel very comfortable from the get-go, even though, I was different than a lot of the guys. A lot of the guys are from Texas, growing up from Texas, and I'm like a Jersey guy coming down, just totally different.
Yeah.
So, but they did a great job bringing me in and making me feel like I was at home.
And it doesn't hurt when you guys are winning the way you did when you were at Texas. You guys end up going to the College World Series.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that experience? Because being a guy who played in college as well, that's what you're kind of dreaming about. Is like, dude, I want to get to the series with my team, and then you guys make it and have a successful run. Tell us about the College World Series.
Yeah, it was the most amazing experience ever. Like you said, it's every college baseball player's dream is to go to Omaha. And it's really not easy to do, but we had a great team. We had great coaches. Our head coach, Dave Pierce, our assistant coaches, Philip Miller and Troy Tulowitzki, is who I would give the most, credit to. Tulo really just shaped my game and all of our games like more than words could ever really describe. But, I think that staff really led us there just by the way we worked all year. Like we knew that was our goal, to get to Omaha. And I think that's where the success came from. We were all on the same page from day one. We're not here to make a regional or make a super regional. We're here to go to Omaha and win.
Mm-hmm.
We came up a little short, but it was still unbelievable. Playing in front of 30,000 people is just unexplainable, man. It seems like it's the biggest thing before the big leagues.
Yeah.
When you get into minor league baseball, it kind of calms down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get to the show, it seems like it'll be that huge environment again. So I'm glad I was able to experience it, before making it up, and being able to play in front of that many people on that stage was definitely good.
Yeah, I mean, most people are familiar when it comes to college sports and tournaments. Obviously, the basketball tournament, and yeah, it's difficult, but the road to the College World Series is crazy. Like how many games and innings these teams have to play, because nobody pays attention to like the regionals and the super. Nobody realizes how much you guys have to play to get to that point, to make it to Omaha in the first place, and then you got to jam all the games within a week, and it's really, really tough for baseball players and for managers to figure out how many arms we got left to throw these innings and stuff. So, yeah, if people get a chance to watch any of the College World Series and stuff this upcoming year, just know how difficult it is for teams to get to that point of the season. Now, after your success in Texas, you end up getting drafted by the Cardinals, and I want to discuss that and your time in the minors next. We'll do that here on Locked On Cardinals. But first, let's talk about BetOnline.net, your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer and esports. They've got it all at BetOnline.net. They're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix on whichever sport you're interested in. Last night, Monday Night Football, 49ers 10-point favorites, took care of business and then some against the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City, stomping them in front of that national audience. So if you took the 49ers and then the over, you made out quite nice last night. And it's just that easy. That's how easy you can win. Black Friday coming up. You need to get a little extra dough to buy, I don't know, like an electric toothbrush or something for your sister. Grab some video games for the kids, jewelry for mom or the wife or girlfriend. Let your sports knowledge help you out. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, we're back with Mike Antico joining us today. We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today, from the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports. Go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so successful years. St. John's, good. Texas, great. Next step, Mike, you get to the pros. You get drafted in the 8th round by St. Louis. And I asked Gordon this question as well, because draft day for baseball is way different than what people see for the NFL. It's all the glitz and the glamour, and they got all this going on. And baseball draft's totally different. It's a lot longer, a lot more rounds. And what were you doing on draft day when you got the call that they had taken you? And was it much of a surprise that it was the Cardinals that were on the other line picking you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was actually with one of my teammates. We decided, like, the last few years we had sat there and watched all the rounds, And I was like, let's change it up this year. Let's take a long drive. So it was funny. He's actually from St. Louis, and we were hanging out in St. Louis. And then once the draft started, we had a plan to drive all the way back to New Jersey to kill some time, and so we don't have to sit in front of the TV and watch the draft.
Yeah.
So we stopped in Chicago and then stopped in Ann Arbor, Michigan for the night, and the following day is when I got the call from the Cardinals in the 8th round, and it was great that we were together because me and him have been playing together for a long time, and it's obviously something you always talk about. But I was surprised it was the Cardinals, but I was very happy when I got that call, and my friend even got recorded the whole thing, so it was cool. And the next part of that was that now we had to wait for him to get drafted, and
Right.
so we had, and it didn't happen that day, so we had to sleep on it, and but he ended up getting picked in the 15th round the next day, so it all worked out. But we were sweating for a minute there for sure. But it was just me and him. I wasn't even with family or anything. I just kind of wanted to disappear for a few days and not really think about it or worry about it too much. And, it kind of just happened. So it was nice.
I can imagine because you've got the anticipation going on, and then as other picks continue to go, and you're like, oh boy, how long is this going to take? And I can see that'd be torture. That's got to be torture, sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. Yeah, and then be with your buddy, I guess you couldn't really celebrate too much because you're like, oh no, you'll get picked soon, don't worry. And then you're like, oh man, all right. Okay, my moment's passing by here, bro. I need to say, be happy about something. A high five, something like that.
Yeah.
Can I get it?
Yeah.
All right. Now, in your own opinion, you get drafted. What are the biggest assets for people who aren't familiar with you? You're talking to a new audience right now, and they may not have done any research, have no idea what you do. What are your biggest assets as a player, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, just my ability to get on base, and when I get on base, just taking advantage of it, stealing second base, stealing third base. Anytime I'm on, I'm trying to go, and ultimately that just leads to me scoring a lot of runs and winning games. That's what I like to do. Besides that, I played mainly center field this year, so I feel like I did pretty well out there. I made, I think, 99% of the plays, which was good, and I had a pretty good season at the plate. It was my first full season, so trying to figure some things out and trying to figure out how to navigate, 500 something at bats that I got. But I'm able to drive the ball and get on base, steal bases, play the field. So I try to do a little bit of everything, but really just try to win. That's how I was, taught to play. Just try to win the game. You're going to play your best. And that's really what's been working for me.
You hit 10 home runs your senior year at Texas, then you popped 6 more at Palm Beach, and then you had 14 combined this season in your time at Peoria and Springfield. Before that, though, not as much power. Has there been anything in particular that has led to the extra home runs? Has it been launch angles, any kind of that nerdy stuff that we hear about on TV that has led to you lifting the ball a little more?
No, I mean, we're very, it is a scientific thing, but it wasn't analytics that, helped me, find that power. Like I mentioned before, it was really working with Troy Tulowitzki. He just changed my, he changed my swing, and when I first got to him, he kind of just let me do my thing through fall ball, and I did very well. And at the end of it, he said, listen, this is good now and it works, but, I want you to play in the big leagues. I want you to I want this to be able to work in the big leagues for 10 years. So, we made adjustments and stuff, and, some uncomfortable times just trying to figure out what's going on, and, my hands up here, hands down here, or whatever it may be. So just some swing changes, I would say, led to me being able to get the most out of my swing. And I mean, the difference definitely showed, which was great to see.
And it's kind of cool to have somebody like a Troy Tulowitzki, multiple-time All-Star during his prime, considered probably the best shortstop in the game at that time.
Definitely. Definitely.
A lot of times, Cardinal fans were like, "Get Tulo out of Colorado, bring him to St. Louis." That
Were
was
they saying that back then?
Oh yeah. They
Yeah.
wanted it bad.
Wow.
The Cardinals are always poaching the Colorado Rockies for star players. Larry
Well, they got
Walker,
Nolan, so that worked
Nolan
out.
Arenado, yeah. And then back then it was like we got to get Tulo, and then he ended up getting shipped to Toronto, I believe, and everybody was
That's
going,
right.
"Oh man, what happened? How did we lose
Yeah.
out on Troy here?"
Yeah.
You mentioned getting on base and stealing bases. You had 67 of those this year, which is an eye-popping stat. In this day and age where the stolen bases are a lot lower. I mean, you got the top guys in the major leagues are stealing 40 maybe, and
Mhm.
you're going 67. What are some of the keys for you when it comes to stealing bases? Because the Cardinals over the years have enjoyed a base stealer or two with guys like Willie McGee and Vince Coleman, Tommy
Yeah.
Edman, one of the top guys as well. What is it for you that besides just speed, just pure speed, what is something else that may lead to you being able to steal more bags than other guys?
Yeah. So I guess we're trying to change that. We're trying to bring base stealing back a little bit.
I love it, by the way. I think it's awesome. Put the pressure on the
Let's go.
defense, on the pitcher, on the catcher.
That's
Do it.
right.
I love it.
It works. It works. You know, one of the biggest things for me was just doing my homework, really, like, they have all these, analytics, like you say, and all this technology and everything and video. So really the biggest jump for me was just doing my homework, looking into these pictures and seeing what they do. And, everyone's got tendencies, just like every time I get in the box, I tend to do the same thing. Pitcher will be the same way. Every time he gets on the mound, whatever it may be. And I just try to spot these things and then capitalize on them. Besides the speed, it's really the jump, it's the first step. So in my off season and my training, I really just try to work on that initial jump, that first step. And I think that if I could get 3 or 4 steps in before he releases the ball, I have a pretty good shot at getting the bag. So, I've got it down packed pretty good, but it's still learning. You learn so much every game, every opportunity you get. So.
When it comes to sliding, you see a lot of dudes make some really bad slides in the
Yeah.
major leagues. It's like they've never done it before. You see a guy like Trey Turner who's got like the smoothest slide in the world, and then you see other guys that are tumbling into second base and whatnot. Are you a feet first slider, or do you like to go head first like Ricky Henderson style?
I love Ricky Henderson, but I'm going feet first every single time, just because that's how I do it.
Yeah.
A majority of guys go head first, but I'm able to beat the throw feet first. So, that's just what's comfortable for me. I've done it my whole life. And, I think sometimes head first, you have some adjustability where you could swim move or something like that. But if I'm going to beat the throw, I could just get in feet first, and I don't have to avoid any type of tag or anything.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm always yelling at the TV too when I see guys do the head first. I'm like, first off, how rough that is on your body,
yeah,
jumping and diving into it. But you put the hands, which are very important in the game of
that's
baseball, you
right.
put those at risk every time. Fingers, shoulders, like all of that is put to risk because you put it in the path of the ball, the other player's spikes, all of that coming in at your hands and stuff. And it's dangerous. And I still don't understand why some guys stick with that. When you go feet first, you got the pop-up slide that you can use and then immediately hit the bag and go to third if the ball goes
That's
into
right.
center
That's
field.
right.
It just makes a lot more sense. And I have no idea why people still do head first. It's weird to me.
I go feet first, so I couldn't tell you, but yeah,
It's because you're a smart guy, Mike, and these
there
other
you go.
guys, stupid. Another guy that's on the Cardinals right now, and I'm curious if you get any comparisons to him because of the physique that you carry. You've got the speed. Tyler O'Neill. Do you hear that very often from people?
I've heard him once or twice, and I was able to meet him in the Arizona Fall League, which was I met him
Nice.
in spring training last year a little bit, but got to spend a little more time with him in Arizona because he came down for a game, contingent on the Cardinals winning, that playoff game, and then he would have went out
Right.
to play for the team. So, listen, if I could be, nearly as good as T.O., I'll have a nice career. He's one of the most talented guys I've ever been around. And I know I look strong, but that guy is double strong. He is a freak of nature, I would say. But yeah, I've gotten the comparison once or twice.
I was gonna say, so I'm kind of a big fan. I'm a proponent of Mr.
There you
O'Neill.
go.
So
There you go.
I got his goods right here.
Perfect.
And this was the early number 41 before he ended up switching it up.
I was gonna say I don't remember him wearing 41.
Those are his first couple of years with the Cardinals, and then he switched it up. But I'm a huge fan of what we like to call him Bro Neil on the show, and he's just so good in so many ways. And I always got to stick up for him because people bag on him for, he's hurt and this. I'm like, he's not doing it on purpose, you guys. Yeah. Like, he's trying to be good. You know, he coming off an almost MVP caliber season. So, you know, cut the guy a little slack. All right. You got promoted to Springfield this year, which had a lot of talent on that roster. We talked about Gordon Graceffo, Masyn, Winn, Jordan Walker, some big-time prospects in the system. What's your scouting report on guys like Jordan Walker? To see this kid, really, you know, he's 20 years old doing what he's doing right now. And, you know, you just see his angle to get to the pros. It's coming up pretty quick. What can you tell us about Jordan and Masyn?
Yeah, they're both very impressive. You know, I love playing with them. I think the three of us have a good thing going. You know, we have some good camaraderie, and we bounce off each other. You know, during the season, for the most part, it was me batting leadoff, Masyn second, and Walker third. So we always had a good time just getting after it and winning games and playing well. But Jordan Walker is one of the best talents I've ever seen in my life. And it's crazy that he's 20 because I remember when I was 20 and I was like not even close to where he's at. So he's way ahead of his time. But, you know, just still trying to get better, still learning. And you know, we work together a lot. Masyn also another like unbelievable talent. This guy's got an arm like you've never seen, and he doesn't always pull it out, but he pulls it out when he needs it, and it works. And you know, he caught a little backlash or whatever for him trying to throw so hard across the infield or whatnot, but it plays in the game. Like you might have seen that play he made in the Fall Stars game where he kind of bobbled the ball, which is going to happen, and he was able to chuck it over there and get the guy in time. Like an average arm isn't going to throw that guy out. So,
right.
I mean, I love the both of them. We live together in Arizona, and we love playing together. So I'll be seeing them soon. I'll be seeing them. We're going to go down to spring training probably sometime in January and get back to work.
Yeah, you mentioned Mason's arm, you know, obviously playing the shortstop position, getting balls over into the hole and being able to, you know, get it across the diamond in time to get guys. And let's be honest, you know, people think that stuff's really, really cool. The StatCast stuff is that's the era we're in now. And you saw all the attention that O'Neill Cruz got for the Pirates this year for just throwing it across the diamond at 95, 96 miles an hour. And Mason's got that arm. I actually asked Gordon, I was like, who's got a better arm, you or Masyn? And he had to hesitate for a minute. He goes, well, where are we throwing it from? Am I on the mound or am I at shortstop? And I'm like, well, let's go from the mound. He's like, well, then I'm better than he is. Don't even listen to it. He'll give us
Masyn would beg to differ, but I guess I don't know. It's a different arm. It's electric, you know, and he's like a whip, the kid. So I mean, he throws the ball 100 miles per hour. I guess Gordon does too. Yeah, it'd be a good competition. It'd be a good competition for sure.
Well, let's put something in your terms. Who's faster on the bases? Because Mason's known to steal a bunch of bags too. Are you faster than Masyn Winn?
He'll tell you. He'll tell you that. But it's a different type of speed, I would say. He's so quick and fast twitch, you know. And I'm more of a dead sprint. You know, he's a right-handed hitter. I'm a left-handed hitter. So I'll get down the line a little quicker than him, you know, but it's got to be very close. I'm not going to say that I'm losing that race, but you know, what I worry about is getting down to the first base bag. So, you know, I have an advantage being left-handed, but that's just how it goes.
No, it's just great that the organization's got talented guys like you guys in so many different ways where, arms, speed, power with Jordan, which is what you want. You want to have a little bit of everything, which is
Yeah.
how you win ball games. We're talking with Cardinals outfield prospect Mike Antico today, who is finally actually getting some time off from actually playing the game of baseball. You're still working out and stuff, but I say that because your season didn't end in Springfield when a lot of people's did. You end up, as you mentioned, being a part of the Arizona Fall League this year. For people who aren't familiar with the AFL, how do you end up getting to play there?
Yeah, so basically each organization is going to pick 5 or 6 guys and send them to they pick you, and for whatever reason it might be, maybe they want you to get more bats, maybe, you just had a great season and they want to, reward you. And because it is an honor to go and play in that league. So each team will send 5 or 6 guys, and then there's 6 teams out there, and they're all made up of the 5 or 6 guys from each different team. So I was with the Salt River Rafters. Obviously, it was the Cardinals, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, and then maybe I'm missing 1 or 2. But then the next team would be the Yankees, the Athletics, and so on and so forth. So it was a really cool dynamic of the league, and being able to meet all the great players and all the guys you're seeing highlights of during the season, and just really the best players in the country all getting together in Arizona and playing a 30-game season. It was a blast. It really was. So
one of the great highlights that I saw over the time in the AFL was you hitting a bomb to right center, and it was one of the no doubters. And I also noticed in some of your college highlights, you have a pretty good bat flip, Mike. Where does the bat flip come from? Or is it just all natural and it just is able to come out of the hand so good?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. It's just in the moment. I don't know. It's not something I think about or try to do. Yeah, I just try to, it's just in the moment. It just happens type of thing. And, there's nothing like hitting a home run, so those are moments you always remember. And everyone counts, everyone is a good feeling. So you just try to enjoy it. I try to take a slow jog around the bases and enjoy, because we work so hard all year. You just want to, so when you have those good moments, you want to ride them out as long as you can.
Yeah, especially with you, you're normally sprinting everywhere, all over the field, man.
Exactly.
Take a load off for a second.
So when I can take a jog, I try to take my time, for sure.
There you go. Once again, you were in the AFL with, you mentioned Masyn and Jordan. Another guy who got a lot of attention in the AFL, ended up getting the Pitcher of the Year award, was Connor Thomas. What can you tell us about Connor, and have you ever had to face him, being that he's normally on your side?
Yeah, I've never really had to face him, but in the Fall League was the first time that I played behind him, which was a lot of fun, because when I'm in center, I'm right behind him, of course, and I could see the way his ball is moving, which is just super impressive, because it looks like it's coming right down the middle, like 3/4 of the way there, and then it's gone, and then it's gone, and then it's gone. So, I mean, he's got great stuff, and I think that's really what it is. Like, that ball looks like it's coming in the zone, and then it kind of just disappears for a second, and guys really had a hard time, finding a hole to get off him. But he did great all year. He was lights out. I love to see it. He's a great teammate, and I told him I love playing behind him. I play behind him any day, so it was fun.
Yeah. I ended up picking up that cut fastball, and we know a guy that used to be a Yankee named Mariano Rivera who did very well when he went with that cut fastball. So hopefully Connor will have more success, because he had kind of a struggle year during the regular season, but then he figures things out, and AFL Pitcher of the Year. So that was pretty awesome. You see names in the Cardinals outfield. We mentioned Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, Lars Nootbaar, Harrison Bader. Before that, they've got Juan Yepes up there, Alec Burleson, who had a huge year. What do you think it's going to take to see you make that next jump, not only to Memphis next year, but also to get up to the show?
Yeah, I mean, all great players. I've been watching them. Like, our talent's unbelievable. And then you even throw Jordan Walker in there now, too, in the outfield. So we've got some talent pool of outfielders, and just in general. For me, it's just consistency. I've shown these guys everything I could do, at the plate, on the bases, in the field. So it's just a matter of consistently doing it. And I think that I consistently do it. And we'll be doing a major league podcast soon. And you'll be asking me, how was my rookie year? So
I sure hope so, because as a Cardinal fan for a really long time, the skill set that you possess is something that Cardinal fans love. Like, they love speed, they love hustle, they love all of that, good defense, all of that involved. It's not just about, sure, everybody likes the power hitters and stuff here, but the chaos on the base paths is something that Cardinal fans have always enjoyed. I know I enjoy them. The years when the Royals were good and winning, going to the World Series and stuff, I love those teams because it was pitching, defense, great base running. They didn't rely on having to hit a 3-run homer to win the game. And that's your game, is doing those little things that, drive the other team nuts, to be honest. And, I look forward to seeing you doing more of that in the future in Memphis, and not only there, but hopefully in St. Louis one day. All right, a couple Thanksgiving questions, and we'll let you get on out of here. What's the household like during the holidays for Thanksgiving? Like, do you guys have a big family? Because you're talking about Italians, and, they like to be around each other a lot. So do you guys got like 40, 50 people coming over?
So, yeah, that's a good guess. You did good, JD. My dad's side of the family, there's 6 aunts and uncles. I have all my grandparents, which is a blessing. On my dad's side, there's 6 aunts and uncles, and there's 16 first cousins, if I'm doing the math right on that. So that alone, we're 20 something. Throw the grandparents in, throw a couple. Yeah, we're looking at 30 something people. For sure. My mom's family's got a whole crew as well. So yeah, it's a huge family, and I'm so blessed growing up with all these cousins, and I have a younger sister that I'm gonna see tomorrow. So family is the biggest thing to me, and they've been my biggest support the whole way through. I got my grandma watching every single one of my games this year. She knows everything. So, it's nothing but love for them, and I really appreciate it.
There's one thing, if I would say, I know COVID really screwed a lot of things up for people, but one thing that I think that we have taken away from that is we've been able to allow family members, like grandparents, who can't get to everywhere that they want to be. We've been able to get them access to all of the games and stuff, because they're doing it at the high school level for people now too, which I thought was really neat, so that they don't have to struggle trying to get out to the games and stuff. So that's cool that you can have the family members watching you wherever you're playing at. So that's good stuff. You're allowed to get rid of one Thanksgiving meal staple. So you've got your basics. Which one are you booting from the table? Which one do you think is the gross?
I could do without the cranberry sauce. I could do without it.
It's weird, right? It's gelatin. It's weird.
I don't need it. Maybe like if it's there, maybe, but I don't need it.
Yeah, it feels like an unnecessary, and it's not sauce. Like, it's Jello. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I was never sure about it. I was never really sure.
All right, we got Black Friday shopping coming up. Are you one of those dudes who will get up early and go do any shopping? Or are you like, nah, I need sleep. No way.
I'll tell you, my mom is the professional, so I just I just let her do her thing. She'll be calling me all night. Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? So she does it. I'm gonna say mom takes that, and I'll be relaxing on Black Friday.
Smart move. All right. Final question. What are we asking Santa for Christmas this year? You gonna get any new equipment, or what are you wanting?
Well, I've been using the same glove that I used at Texas. So I think it's good I retire that glove, because I don't want to beat it up next season. So I think I could use a new mitt this year.
There you go. Is there a specific style you like to use?
Yeah. I use Rawlings. I use Wilson, but I just like a big glove, usually about a 13-inch. It looks like a freaking fishing net or something. I need to be able to catch everything out there. So the bigger the glove, the better. I think it looks like my whole torso. It's like as big as my torso when I'm out in the field. I see pictures sometimes. I'm like, but hey, it works. So
Yeah, if it's going to get you to run down those balls in the gap and be able to snag them, why not? The little shoestring catches make things easier. I totally understand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Mike, dude, thank you so much for taking your time out to join us today. Enjoying the journey that you have going ahead, and we can't wait to check you out in Memphis and hopefully get you up to St. Louis. And we'll be looking for you in spring training. Obviously, we'll see you down there too when things get started in the spring.
All right, JD. Yeah, come find me when you're down there. I'd love to talk again.
All right. Happy holidays, Mike.
Thank you, JD.
All right. That's Mike Antico, everybody. That's awesome. As always, we want you guys to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitter at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. I know Mike doesn't have Twitter, but he's got Instagram. If you guys want to find him on there and follow him there, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.